And what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Football podcast. Another great week of football has gone by. We got a lot of good games, a lot of close ones, new uniforms being worn. We got our first international game played, first one ever, in Dublin. Really, really fun week of football. Again, some close games, some blowouts. Got a couple of them actually in here. Got a couple of really good games between really good teams. The primetime games weren't great, but it doesn't matter. We're going to break down all of it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Talkin Football content. Let me hit the intro and let's get right into the Week 4 recap. Now, before I begin, I just want to talk about the Chiefs for a second because I don't talk about them often. Like usually, I'm like I want to talk about the middle of the pack teams. Like we should, like honestly, my podcast name should be Talking Mediocre Football because I think that's I only really talk about them because the crappy teams, are not good, and the really good teams, everyone talks about them. I'm more like, oh well, let's see how the Seahawks are doing. Let's see how the Cardinals are doing. That's kind of what my head is at. But I just want to talk about the Chiefs for a second. I don't have how my bottom bars here. I don't have one for them, but I want to talk about them because we got a vintage Patrick Mahomes performance this past week in a very big time game against a Ravens team that, yes, is depleted like crazy because of all the injuries they have. But let me tell you something. Patty Mahomes, 25 of 37, 270 yards, and four touchdowns through the air. No picks. He was sacked just once, 124 passer rating for Patrick Mahomes. He looked fantastic. He looked really, really good. It's so nice to see that. And I know Baltimore is like they have so many injuries, and I know they're only going to add more as the season goes on. I know Roquan is hurt. I know Marlon Humphrey got hurt. Travis Jones didn't play this past weekend. We'll get into the other new injury reports in the next segment. But Mahomes finally gave us like entertaining Chiefs football because the Chiefs used to be in like 2019, 2020, 21, usually around that area. Like there's like a 3-year or 2018. Let's add that in there too. When Mahomes took over as the starter in KC, it was so entertaining because they were slinging it. And now we know Mahomes is a good quarterback. So now they're more of a balanced offense, which is fine. It actually works in their favor. We know that they've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. In fact, they've been to 4 of the last 5, and they've won 2 of them. So we know that they have the success in those deep playoff runs come January and February. However, they win like 24, 21, like 28, 27, but like the 28 isn't like a fun 27. It's like a boring 27 or 28. You know what I'm saying? Where it'll be like, oh, Pacheco got 2 touchdowns and, they got like one league block punt that put them in like 20. It didn't feel like there's a bunch of offense going on, I didn't feel that way this game. And granted, I'll be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the 4 o'clock window other than for fantasy purposes. I was watching for Jonathan Taylor. But there were times where and Zay Flowers, so I was obviously keeping an eye on this game when the Ravens were on offense. But every time I saw the Chiefs on offense, they were running really fluently, which is nice to see for Kansas City. So if you're a Chiefs fan, let me tell you something. They played a really, really good game. Mahomes really dished the ball out well. Worthy came back in his first game, 5 catches for 83 yards. He had a really good game there, long of 37. And it's nice to see that he's really spreading the ball around. So Kansas City with a very, very nice win there. Give him credit for a nice win over the Baltimore Ravens. Let's talk about week 4 injuries. I'll be honest, I thought there were more than what there were, but I'm looking at my notes here. Ugh, man, as a Giants fan, this hurts. You see this right here. You see that right here. That hurts. Malik Neighbors, torn ACL, and he is out for the season. That sucks. That is so annoying. If you saw the play, it was pretty much instant. There was like, yeah, no question about it. I didn't even see the play live. I'm not even joking. I switched the channel and I saw Neighbors was on the ground grabbing at his knee and he was yelling. I was like, oh, what happened here? And then you look at the replay and you see his knee buckled immediately. And then when you see him go up, even in real time, when you see him go up for it, he almost like flails at it. He doesn't even go for it. He just kind of flails at it. And that's when you knew, like, all right, he's hurt. And I kept saying, yeah, he's done for the year. Like, you can just tell. And is that pessimism? Is that being realistic? I don't know. Maybe both. But now it's confirmed. Neighbors is out for the year. And it sucks because Jaxson Dart played well, and we'll talk about him. Absolutely. You know, I'm a Giants fan. We're talking about Jaxson Dart in a little bit. Neighbors, done for the year. Other receiver injury, Tyreek Hill, in one of the ugliest injuries I've seen in recent years. If you didn't see it live, it's not going to make you puke. It's not like it's more like oh, because it happened so fast. Basically, what happened was Tyree. It almost looked like a hip drop. Was it a hip drop? I don't think it was, but it almost looked like one of them. And Tyree got rolled up, and basically, when he came up, his his right leg. It's not funny to laugh about this. I'm just laughing at the absurdity of the image I looked at. So here's Tyreek from his thigh to his knee. It's straight. Rest of his knee. You get the picture. His knee was literally like bent this way. Now, if you guys have ever seen the SNL skit of Jared Schleff, when this is, I don't even know when this is like, I mean, it's not old, but it's like older compared to what they do now. It's like maybe like 10-ish years ago. They did a skit where the Packers, they went through 3 quarterbacks and they called in like this random bum. It was Pete Davidson, and he came in, and one play he broke his legs, and they put him on the sideline, and his legs are coming up this way. It was, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it looked pretty bad. Based on what early reports are saying, I mean, you could tell like a second grader could tell you that he dislocated his knee, but Tyreek Hill dislocated his knee, and it looks like he also tore a lot of the ligaments in his leg. So ACL, MCL, PCL, I believe all of them were torn. I mean, not to be funny, if your leg moves that way, I would imagine it would be. Some say it's career ending. I personally think it is. I might be wrong, but when I say career ending, I mean it's career ending in the sense that he's never going to be the same. He's not. Remember what happened to Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb was one of the best running backs in the NFL, top 3. That leg injury happened. That gruesome, ugly leg injury happened. And now he's an RB2 behind Woody Marks, who's a rookie on Houston. He had a chance to be great. So I think that's where I'm kind of out with Tyreek. I don't think that he's going to be the same. What does that mean for the Dolphins? They won. They're 1-3. I don't think I still believe that they should tear it down. And I'm not sure if I said this last week or the week before or at some point this season. I feel like I did. But I thought that they should have teared it down. Trade Tyreek when you could have. They chose not to. And now his knee is dislocated and you can't get anything out of him. You get nothing unless a team is willing to take a chance that he could be a shadow of himself and they'll trade like a 7th round pick for that horrible contract. Now you have to eat that contract and you have to go a different direction. Talked about the Ravens having injuries. Justin Madubuike, neck injury, out for the season. They just keep piling up for Baltimore. Every now and then, all good teams have one year where they just get demolished by injuries. The Ravens are unlucky, and they're having it this year. Van Noy, Travis Jones, Madubuike, Roquan, Marlon Humphrey, Lamar, who got hurt on Sunday. The injuries just don't end. They just don't end for this team. Madubuike, who is one of the best defensive tackles in football, he absolutely broke out. I remember when he was Justin Madubuike. Now he's Namadi Madubuike, I want to say. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Similar to Odafe Owe. When he came in, he was Jason Owe, wasn't he? He was Jason Owe out of where did Odafe Owe go to school? When he came out, I want to say he went to Penn State. He did go to Penn State. He came out as Jaxson Oweh, I want to say. I'm pretty sure he was Jaxson Oweh he was Jaxson Oweh. He was Jaxson Oweh in college, came in, now he's Odafe. Same thing with Madubuike. He was Justin, now he's Namadi, which, hey, good for you. Do what you got to do. Neck injury, though, he's out for the year. Let's go back to the actual news part. Lamar Jackson. So I saw this on one of the news pages I follow on Instagram. I think they were reposting that what the Baltimore Sun had posted. Not sure how reliable they are, but one thing I do know is that they reported that Lamar might have to miss 2 to 3 weeks of action with this hamstring injury. One thing I know from what it's worth compared to other analysts, my limited experience as a football fan, hamstrings are so tough to deal with because they linger for the entire season. Ankles, foot injuries, toe injuries, shoulder injuries, all the other stuff you can get by with. Hamstrings linger. And just like that, you can restrain it or something, or, whatever it may be, or sprain it, and now you're back in the IR. They take the longest amount of time to get fully recover. And if you're playing every week and you're practicing every week in pads and getting hurt and getting tackled, that's not going to help. And considering how freaking fast Lamar is and how much he relies on his legs for mobility, you might see Lamar out for a week. Wouldn't surprise me. Would I put a lot of money on it? No. But that's that. Going over to the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels looks to be good for next week's game against Los Angeles Chargers. So the Commanders finally, after 2 weeks, get Jaden Daniels back. He was dealing with a leg injury. Terry McLaurin, on the other hand, he is still dealing with the same injury that he was dealing with. I believe it's a quad. They talked about the potential of needing to go on IR. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he'll be out for... I don't know if he's going to be out this week, but I think if he doesn't play this week, we might have to see an IR stint for Terry. So just keep an eye on that. Also, and this feels really inappropriate to put it in the injury report portion of things, but John Mara was recently diagnosed with cancer. He released a statement when I'm recording this on Tuesday. He released this yesterday on Monday, and he announced that he was diagnosed with cancer. What exactly? I don't know. He said he was going to remain with the team, which I admire him for. I think that's a very bold move. But I love his ambition. And that he kind of left it at that. He kind of said, respect my privacy, which we will. I'm not going to comment on that much. Obviously, hope that he gets well very soon, and prayers to his family that he can get that done taken care of quickly. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to investigate because, again, it's his right to keep that private. So, on Sunday, the halftime show got released. It is Bad Bunny. He's the halftime show performer. This Super Bowl 60, will be in San Francisco at Levi Stadium. So people were like, ooh, it's California. You're in San Fran. You got to bring in Metallica. Bring in Metallica. Everyone's like, yeah, Metallica. And then they come out with Bad Bunny. And everyone's like, this is not who we wanted. I don't know what people are so mad about it, though. I don't listen to him, but I know it's going to be a good show. Look, for my wrestling fans out there, when he was with WWE for, how long was it? I know he came back at the Rumble in 23, I want to say. He's an outstanding entertainer. He is. Or maybe it was a 24 Royal Rumble, whatever. He's an outstanding entertainer. Look, who was it last year? Kendrick Lamar? I don't listen to any of his music. But I know Not Like Us. So I'll, whatever, I'll be cool with that. Usher? I don't listen to Usher. I'm not 40. But he put on a good show. It was different. I liked it, though. Not bad. I'll be honest, there were 5 people who I thought it would be. I'm not gonna go into this that much, but I wanted to at least talk about it. There are 5 people who I thought it would be, and all of them are wrong. I thought, it could be Morgan Wallen or Post Malone because it's such a big thing, but then again, it's in California. Maybe if it was in, like actually, have they had the Super Bowl at AT&T yet? I don't think so. It would make a lot of sense because the Cotton Bowl is there. The Cotton Bowl is there every year. I don't get why that wouldn't be there because Dallas doesn't make the Super Bowl anyways. No home field advantage. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Yeah. So I guess location wise, having a guy like Morgan Wallen or Post Malone doesn't make sense. Well, Post Malone if he was still doing the rap stuff, maybe. But I also thought who else I thought? I thought I'm so happy it's not. I thought they might ride the Benson Boone bandwagon, which I'm so happy they didn't because he's incredibly overrated. It's the football podcast, but I'm still going to talk about that. And he's overrated. He is nothing special. He's a normal person. I also thought that it could be Bruno Mars because he's getting some popularity back and he's a great entertainer. He already did the halftime show once before with his guys in 20 it was the year the Broncos and Panthers played, I think. So it was 25th. Well, the year was 2016, but they played in 2015. And I also thought Taylor Swift. I would not be surprised though. I mean, I thought my master plan was that they would plan Taylor Swift to be the halftime show, and then if the Chiefs made the Super Bowl, they would have Taylor and Travis's wedding be the halftime show. It is such a weird thing, but that's what I thought. That's a little, bit of a conspiracy. But you know what? Who cares? Got to report that because we're the Talkin Football podcast. Let's talk about the Ravens. Baltimore Ravens. They're 1-3. This team is 1-3. They're the same record as the Giants. They are the exact same record as the Giants. I'm hoping. I'm assuming they're 1-3. If they're not, I'm gonna look like an idiot. I believe they're 1-3. Please tell me I'm right. I am right. They are 1-3. Guess what? That means that they are the exact same team as the New York Giants. I'm kidding. I'm not. That puts them at the same level as the Raiders, as the Dolphins. It means that the New England Patriots are a better football team than them. It means that the Bears are a better team than them. It means that the Cowboys with a tie are better than them. Man, what's going on with them? I know I talked about them being depleted, but even without them being depleted, they stink. They're not a good team. And don't tell me it's coaching because they have probably the best coaching staff in all of football, or one of them at least. John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in football, and I will die on that hill. I think he is actually maybe not the best. He's top 3. If I sat down and actually thought about it, he might not be there, but I would say off the top of my head, top 3. I think Campbell's in there. I really want to put Kevin O'Connell in there, but he just sucks in the playoffs, and sometimes his play calling makes me really question how are you a coach? But he's so good with quarterbacks too. KOC. Harbaugh's got to be not Tomlin, not anymore. Stefanski is a great coach, but he's not top 3. Andy Reid. Yeah, you got to put Andy Reid in there. So Reid is in there. That's a very interesting question. Sean McDermott's really good. I really like D'Amico. Todd Bowles is good. McVay. Yeah, so maybe Reid, McVay, Campbell. So maybe Harbaugh's just out of there. So we sat down, we thought about it. Maybe he's just outside of there. I actually think he's a better coach than Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's just a better motivator, if that makes sense. So because when you're depends on who you're drafting. The Baltimore Ravens, they're drafting polished players. They're drafting the Kyle Hamiltons of the world. The Lions, they're drafting Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. We're gonna kick your teeth in. You're gonna need dentures by the time we're done with you. John Harbaugh's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna tackle you, and you're gonna get a gain of 3 on 3rd and 4, and you have to punt. That's what they do. That's a realistic summary of that. So it's not the coaching staff, is basically my point. I think Todd Monken's done a great job. has play calling been bad? Sure. The defensive coordinator, who I don't know off the top of my head, I forgot his name. He's done a pretty good job there in the last 2 years. So let's talk about it. It's not Lamar, because he's been playing very well. So who is it? Is it the offensive line? Is it Derrick Henry, who is like inconsistent? I mean, is it the defense? And I partially feel stupid because I put all of my eggs in this basket right here. I'm like, yeah, Baltimore, they're going all the way. They're winning the Super Bowl. I don't know if I said that, but I know I think what do they have them going? Well, because power of Instagram. I'm just going to go to my profile at Talkin Football Pod. By the way, might as well follow that while I'm doing this. Let me look at my my official projection. 14-3. They have to win out for that to be right. That is embarrassing. That's an ugly, ugly prediction there. That was silly. That was very silly. As I turned on New York Riff by accident. That's my fault. You better believe that was silly. If that picked up on the mic, I hope it didn't. I had them going 14-3, but I just can't figure out why they're losing. I mean, I know this team was 0-2. Was it last year they were 0-2, or was it the year before when they lost to the Raiders? Maybe that was 2 years ago. I know they have slow starts sometimes, but like they don't. This is not a team that's like, oh yeah, this is gonna win. They're gonna win games. I just don't see that. So I don't know what's happening there. I hope they can figure it out soon. My best guess is why they stink. Probably, if I had to guess, probably injuries. This right here, this headline was probably the most interesting one of the week. Liam Coen and Robert Saleh were going at it. Man, they were beefing. I mean, like, holy cow. They were going at it even after the game. So basically, if you guys don't know what happened, I think Robert Saleh was the one who instigated it. Robert Saleh said about the Niners, or not about the Niners, he's on the Niners. He said about the Jags that they have like a friendly sign stealing algorithm, I guess, or something like that, or process. And then he retracted it, and he was like, "Oh, it's all legal, you know." Okay, so who cares? Like what are you complaining about? It didn't really make a lot of sense. And then someone asked Liam Coen about it in his press conference, and they were like, "Oh, what do you think about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, great. I'm happy that he thinks that way about my team." And I was like, "Ooh, that's gonna be very interesting." We're talking about the Jags a little bit more, but basically, Jacksonville went into San Francisco and they beat them. They won 26-21. Jacksonville looks really good this year. They're much better than I expected them to be. I'll give them credit there. And then after the game, Coen goes up to Shanahan, all good, good game, whatever. And then he looks at Saleh and he says, "Keep Will Smith style, keep my name out your mouth." Hoof. Wow. This is the same guy who went, Duval. Same dude. I mean, this is the exact same dude who came in and said, Duval, who took all of the aura. I don't like saying that much, but like he took all of the punch out of the Jacksonville fan base by doing that. And 4 weeks in, he goes up to one of the baddest DCs in the league. And I don't care how bad he was as a coach. I'm saying DC-wise, he's one of the best in the NFL, probably the best. And he went up to him and he said, "Keep my name out of your mouth." That takes balls to do that. And I know Shanahan, after the game, someone asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't think it's that deep." That deep? Well, your defensive coordinator just said that he's cheating legally, which doesn't make sense because that's an oxymoron. That doesn't make sense there. I'm hoping that's an oxymoron. English class at Talkin Football Podcast. At the Talkin Football Podcast. I don't quite get this whole thing though. I think it's one of the funniest things this year. Entertaining, definitely. That's what the NFL is an entertainment business. But I thought this was pretty funny. I mean, the fact that this is what they were like, oh yeah, keep my name out your mouth, and Salah was like, what are you talking to me about? Like, okay, great, you beat me, you move on, congratulations. So I thought that was pretty funny. Uh, there in San Francisco for Jacksonville. So that one definitely is probably one of the funnier headlines I read, one of the funnier videos I saw this week on Sunday and on Monday as well. So I thought that was really interesting in Levi Stadium. I thought it was funny because the same guy who's going Duval was the same guy who's going up to Robert Saleh and going like, yeah, yo, what are you talking to me about? It's time for ballers and fallers. Let's start with some ballers. And I know we usually do players, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. We're not going to do players. We are going to do teams. 3 teams. I know I've gone back and forth with this. Now I'm actually going to stay with it. We're going to stick with teams. Now, let's start with the Texans. Finally, they are finally on the board. Thank the heavens. The Houston Texans get their first win of the season. Brought to you by a 26-0 win over your Tennessee Titans. They stink, the Titans. They are horrible. They're horrible, horrible, horrible. And it sucks because Cam Ward is a star, and you can't tell me nothing about that. You can say, oh, they're not putting up any points. Okay, well, when your best receiver is a Walmart cashier, that's not the best. And Walmart cashiers make great receivers. I'm kidding. Maybe they do. I don't know. CJ Stroud, 22 of 28 for 233, 2 touchdowns, no picks, was just sacked twice, 125 passer rating. He finally looked like the way he did in the last 2 seasons, right? Because year 3 for CJ, yeah, it is. Woody Marks had 17 for 69 and a touchdown on the ground, and he added 4 for 50 and another touchdown through the air. He looked really good. A lot of people are going after him on the waiver wire, so make sure you guys go after him. Say thanks, Talkin Football Podcast, for telling me what to do. Nico Collins, 4 for 79. Everyone else pretty much was kind of mediocre offensively. Defensively, Danielle Hunter, 2 sacks. He has been unbelievable since he went to Houston. He's been very, very good. That Houston Houston defense, rather, totally shut down. They absolutely, totally shut down that Titans offense. Obviously, you can tell by that big donut on the scoreboard. The best receiver on Houston was Elik Iomaner, which is my fault. That was Eric. I added him in fantasy. I was like, oh no, his name is Elik. Elik Iomaner, rookie from Stanford, 2 catches for 44 yards. Cam Ward finished the day 10 for 26 for 108 yards and a pick. Was sacked twice. Passer rating unbelievably high of 35. Yikes, that is ugly. Pollard was the leading rusher. He had 14 for 64. I mean, 10 completions in an entire game. That's 2 completions a quarter. 3 if you round up. I'm just seeing here. There's this guy named C. I don't know who this dude is. Christian Gray, is that his name? I feel like such a casual looking at this. He's this. Is this who it is? No, Christian Gray is on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Okay, so I'm a casual. So C. Gray, whoever that is, probably should have been the dog of the week. 17 tackles total. Goodness gracious, that's crazy. Wow. But Houston finally get on the board, and I'm really happy that they were able to do that. Secondly, the New York Giants, who came in with a new quarterback, with a team that was 0-3, going up against a team that was 3-0. 3-0, 0-3 with a new rookie quarterback, and they won. They won 21-18 this weekend. Thank the heavens. Let's talk about it. Jaxson Dart, did he look insane? No. Did he look there's a word I described him as. He looked poised. That's the best way I can describe him. He looked poised and prepared. Both of those P's. He looked both of them. He looked basically. I mean, I don't want to say everything that they threw at him, but I would say a lot of the things that the Chargers threw at him, he looked pretty prepared for. He was like, okay, yeah, he's deciphering things. He was saying at the line, oh, we're doing this, we're changing it because look at what they're presenting to us. We didn't see that with Russ. That's not something that we saw with Russell Wilson a lot, and I'm very happy to see that that Jaxson was picking up on that stuff. He looked very good on the ground. Obviously, he has a hamstring injury, which he did finish the game with, so I'm hoping he can continue. I haven't heard any updates on it. I don't think the Giants have practiced yet. They usually have Monday off, but I will say I think he played really well. Statistically, not the best game. Again, probably could have been a dog of the week, but I felt that my thing is I know I have a lot of Giants fans watching, and I don't want to get Giants bias overload on this because I'm not a Giants podcast. I'm a football podcast. If it was a Giants podcast, it's a totally separate situation. But because I'm a football podcast, I want and Dart. He was a dog this week, but there were other guys who I thought were a little bit better than him. Some of them maybe not, but felt that it may have been a better choice for me to do that. In my personal opinion. Defensively, Drew Phillips with a pick, Dexter Lawrence with a pick, Brian Burns picked up a sack, Abdul Carter and actually Carter, Thibodeau, and Burns all had, I think, at least 5 pressures, and Carter, or maybe, if anything, that's like an understatement. I think Carter had close to 10 pressures on the day, if I'm not mistaken, because Joe Alt got hurt. I forgot to add him. Go back to the injury report. Joe Alt is going to miss some time as well. I forgot to put that in here. Joe Alt is also going to miss some time with that leg injury. Got carted off. I don't think it's not season ending, but he's definitely going to miss some time with it. I think it's high ankle sprain they're looking at for Alt. So it's Alt and Slater that are both out. But Carter took advantage of that, and he got home a lot. I don't think there was a play where he got a sack on it, but I know he definitely got home and he forced Herbert to get some ugly throws out. So the Giants defense, they look pretty good, other than some DB mishaps and that big run by Hampton. They looked good. New York Giants, and guess who they played this week? They played the Saints. So 2-3 after 5 weeks. That's not bad. First winning streak, I think, since since Tommy DeVito. But man, the New York Football Giants played very well. Do I know who else played well? Them Jacksonville Jaguars. With or without Brian Thomas playing well or not playing well, I don't really know. It's kind of weird. I will say this. They're a good football team, and I doubted them like crazy. I'm like, this is not a good team. I don't believe in Trevor. ETN isn't, whatever I said. I will stand my ground, and I will say I said that because I did. I can look at what I had them going, brought to you by my Instagram, but I know for a fact I did not have them winning a ton of games this year. I had them going 4-13. And the funny thing is, through 4 weeks, they're 3-1. You can do the math. This is not a bad football team. Now, I don't know if they played anyone like super serious yet. I don't consider the Niners as a serious team. I don't think the Niners are that good to begin with. But Trevor Lawrence played pretty well. Turnover-free football there, 92.6 or 92.7 passer rating there. No, through the air, no one was really that great. Thomas, Hunter, like none of them were really like that insane. But if we're being real, yeah. Well, you want to know why they're so good? Linebacker by the name of Devin Lloyd. I should have put him on Dog of the Week voting. Devin Lloyd was insane. 2 picks this week, 1 TFL. He had 2 passes defense. I'm not sure if those are the picks or not. 8 tackles in total, 5 of them being solo. He had a really, really, really good game. So I will say he definitely should have been one. That's my fault. I should have added him there. But the Jaguars, they're 3-1. They need to lose 2 straight games to go back to 500. Watch out for Jacksonville. I'm not saying that they're a super big threat. Just in a little bit, though. They could be making some noise. Fallers, Packers on Sunday Night Football, 40-40 tie. I woke up to that tie. I didn't watch the end of the game, and I was like, oh my goodness, this team tied. But for what it's worth, at the end of the day, who won the trade? You went on the road against a bad Dallas team without CeeDee Lamb, and you tied. What does that say about you? Not a lot of good things. I can say that right now. That does not say a lot of good things about you. Bad things? Sure. You traded a lot of capital, right, for this guy. You traded picks. You traded Kenny Clark, who was like at the middle of your defense. I mean, like, and you got nothing to show for it. You couldn't even beat Dallas. This team stinks. They don't stink, actually. That's not true. Dallas is not that bad of a team. But they're not good. Compared to what they usually are, they stink. I'll say that. I think as a whole, they don't stink, but relative to how they usually play. But I'm like, you couldn't beat Dallas? This is Dallas we're talking about. This is the worst. You scored 40 points, and you let them score 40 on you. That's not a good look. Matt LaFleur, I will say this. I'm trying to think of what happened before the end of the half. Was it a fumble or was it a pick that set up that touchdown near the end of the half? Whatever it was, I didn't like the play call. I think it was a pick. It was a bad play call, and going into the locker room, what's her name? The one who does the Michelle Tafoya, is that her name? She's the one who does the Sunday Night Football sideline reports, and she was asking Matt LaFleur, and man, he did not look happy. But you're the one calling the plays. Like, what are you not happy about? Like, at some point, you got to say, personally, I do two things if it's near the end of the half, end of the first half. Second half, you have a totally different scenario. End of the first half, you want to think about getting points. You do two things. One, vertical run where you know your running back can hit a hole, because if you can get 5 to 10 yards there, then you can set up for a deeper play. Or if you have like 15 seconds left and you only have a timeout, then what you do is you set this up. You set a let's say for Green Bay, for example, you have Romeo Doubs, your Mr. Reliable, had a great game on Sunday. You have him on a crosser, 15 to 20 yards, because that puts you at like the 35, 40. So then guess what? You can attack the sidelines. You can get closer to a field goal attempt. Then you have a burner. So that's going to be your Matt Golden. He's going to be on a deep route, maybe on a deep post, maybe on like a deep corner or something like that. And you set that up. So if you catches it in bounds, then you can take that timeout. You don't go underneath or do any of that, or go to a only go to a check down if it's absolutely necessary. So that whole sequence was really ugly there for Green Bay. In fact, they didn't win. Even worse. Matt LaFleur, it's not. I like him. I think he's a really good coach, but a really ugly game for Matt LaFleur there. Baltimore, we talked about. They are just not a good team right now. They're not playing like a good team right now. They just are not meshing well. I don't know what it is. Something is wrong there, and they just don't. When they go out on the field, they should have the most exciting offense on the field. Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, a good offensive line. Hopkins is a good one-on-one guy. Bateman is a good deep threat, or one of the most exciting, rather. But they just don't, and I don't know why. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I know injuries have really killed them this year, but like at some point, somebody's got to give. And the Colts. And when I say fallers, just two people. A.D. Mitchell. If you didn't see the play, look it up. And Daniel Jones. So I'll describe it to you if you didn't see the play for A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell, a beautiful play, by the way. It really stinks. It would have been a career highlight for him. I think he was in double coverage. He made a catch. He made a spin move to get off of two guys, and he was running down the field. He was absolutely gone. And then right before he goes in, I don't know if he was trying to celebrate or trying to reach the ball over the goal line or what, but he's running, like I'll try and do this. It's gonna look really weird with a pen, but he was running like this. He was running like this, and he went to reach for the goal line, and it just kind of fell out of his hands, and he bobbled it, and then he lost it out of the back of the end zone. I know the ones we usually see, they usually drop it before they go in. Like that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, why would you drop it before you go in? That's one thing, like when Saquon was on the Giants, when he would do the thing, like the Jordan logo, when he would go in, he would pretend like he was like shooting a basketball with the football as you cross the goal line and be like, I would always be like, watch the replay, is he in? I'll be like, okay, great, he's in. Like that's fine. Because like some people do it early, and A.D. Mitchell did it there. Daniel Jones, he finally looked like New York Giants Daniel Jones. And I'm not talking 2022 or 2019. I'm talking like 2024 Daniel Jones. He did not look good at all. And the reason why I know that, and maybe I'm just analyzing it too hard, when he throws the ball, no matter if he's throwing it 5 yards or 50 yards, he drops his shoulder back so far. His windup takes forever. I never realized that. He drops back. It's always all the way back. And it's like on a 5-10 yard, maybe step up and throw. Like he's bending his shoulder back. There was a sack. I think Jared Verse got a strip sack on him. Or maybe it was Byron Young, but it's probably Byron Young. He's been incredible this year. And Jones, man, was just, he didn't feel it at all. He was pressure blind, and I haven't seen that in a couple of years with Jones. He just didn't feel it at all. Down the stretch, when he threw that pick, Jonathan Taylor was wide open. There was no one within 15 yards of Jonathan Taylor, and you still had timeouts. There was like 10 seconds left, and yeah, obviously you throw the ball deep. But he finally looked like the Daniel Jones of old, which I'm not happy to see. Was it an ugly game overall for him? Absolutely not. I'm not going to let one play or a couple plays say, oh, no, Colts aren't good anymore. I still believe in him. I still believe in this Colts team. When you see those signs, you kind of say, okay, well, look, if you can't feel that, we can just send that. If you're a defensive coordinator and you're watching that game plan, you're like, oh. Or you're watching film and you're game planning, you're like, yeah. If he's still making these same mistakes in year, what is he in? 7? Year 8? Right? Send the house. He doesn't play well against pressure. I mean, he's played much better against pressure than he did with the Giants. But it looked a little ugly down the stretch there with Daniel Jones. Just keep an eye on that. Unfortunately, they weren't. I mean, they were good. They were definitely good, but you beat the Panthers, so you're not going to get a baller. But I will give a shout out to the Patriots. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. 42-13, absolute thumping. Drake May has really settled in. Mike Vrabel, he has put his culture into this team. Stevenson's playing well. I think Henderson got a touchdown. Defensively, they're really smothering. Gonzo is really breaking out. So the Patriots, I will give you guys credit. You're playing much better football than you were. This team, they're 2-2 after 4 weeks. Watch out for this Patriots team. I'll leave it at that. It is time for my quarterly awards. That was a terrible introduction. It's time for my quarterly awards. What does this mean? After every 4 weeks, I'm going to be posting about who I think should win each award at the NFL Honors. No, I'm not going to go in, manager of the year. No. I am, though, going to go for the main ones. MVP, both of the Poise, both of the Roys, both of the comeback player of the year and the coach of the year. Let's break it down. Who is let's start from the bottom and go from the top. Coach of the year, Shane Steichen for me. Right now, it's got to be Shane Steichen. Guess what? While I'm recording this was already posted. That's way bright. This was already posted on my Instagram, so make sure you guys are following there at Talkin Football Pod, so you can get this stuff beforehand, and you can be like, oh, well, you know what? I already saw this already. Maybe I want to see him break it down. That's all you got to do. Just make sure you're following at Talkin Football Pod on Instagram, where I will be breaking down some more things. Coach of the Year goes to Shane Steichen. For me, comeback player of the year, it's got to be Dak Prescott. He came back from that injury from last year. He's playing unbelievably well. Dak is without a doubt comeback player of the year. And no, it's not Daniel Jones. He came back from sucking. There's a much bigger difference there. Defensive rookie of the year for me is Abdul Carter. I think that kind of goes without saying. He's been the best defensive rookie. I think there's a couple of other guys that you can talk about there. You know, maybe like, who's the first pick this year? Am I geeking out? Who was the first pick? I'm stupid. I'm like, who was the first pick this year? Oh, it's Cam Ward. Wow. Holy cow. It's late. Sorry. Cam Ward was the first pick. I'm trying to think of who else it could have been defensively off the top of my head. I can't think of anyone else. So maybe not. But I think Abdul Carter right now is kind of an obvious choice for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. No one is even close to Emeka Egbuka. It's actually funny. When I first thought about this post, I was like, who's my Offensive Rookie of the Year? And I said Cam Scatterbo. And I was like, it's not Scatterbo, it's Emeka Egbuka. Like, be serious now. Egbuka is my Offensive Rookie of the Year. Excuse me. Defensive Player of the Year for me is going to go to, and this is just for now. This is the Giants bias kicking in? Sure. For me, my Defensive Player of the Year right now is Brian Burns. He has been unbelievable this year. He's tied for the league leading sacks. He's been a force in the run, in the pass game. I have a hard time thinking that it shouldn't be Brian Burns. How is it not Brian Burns, in my opinion? I would say B-Dub should be, no one calls him that. I think Spider should probably be the Defensive Player of the Year right now, subject to change. But right now, I think it's Brian Burns. Offensive Player of the Year, it's got to be Puka Nacua. He has been unbelievably good this year. I mean, like, my goodness, he's on the tears. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Puka Nacua, and MVP repeating back-to-back is going to be Josh Allen, in my opinion. That's who I got for my quarterly awards. I think that makes the most sense right now. Again, that is absolutely subject to change, but make sure you guys are keeping an eye on that. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'm sure I'll come back to that maybe every 4 weeks. I'll update that post, and talk about my awards every couple or every quarter of the season. Go like week 8, I'll probably go over it again, and so on and so forth. But again, sneak peeks on video content. Make sure you're following my Instagram at Talkin Football Pod. Same handle on YouTube as it is on Instagram. So we're done with the storylines. That means it's time for the signature segment, Dogs of the Week. It is time for Dogs of the Week. Brought to you by no one, but it's cool because we don't need a sponsor because we are the Talkin Football Podcast. No, I'm kidding. First dog of the week goes to Puka Nacua. Before we actually break into this, I should have thought about this beforehand. Make sure you guys are voting. Dog of the week voting. At some point on Monday, on Mondays, I post Dogs of the Week. And I've been very lucky. There haven't been any real dogs on Monday night games yet. If there is one, then I might, whoever got maybe like the least amount of votes on their respective slide, I might put them up against someone else. I had to do that a couple weeks ago with Jonathan Taylor and Emeka Egbuka, I think, because they were tied. Yeah, was it literally last week? I think it was last week. But yeah, so make sure you guys are paying attention to that. Puka Nacua, fan voter dog of the week here. Puka Nacua he's just on a tear. I mean, he has been unbelievably good this season. That's for the reason he's Offensive Player of the Year. He has continued to make strides, establishing himself. He says, no, I don't need Cooper Kupp. Well, he has Devontae Adams, but still, the idea is still the same. Puka Nacua finished with 13 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown. First touchdown of the year for Puka, I believe, actually. So, Puka, man, he's establishing himself as like a top 3 receiver. Jefferson, Chase, Puka, I think that's a fair estimate to make. On Yahoo, I believe he's the number 1 player in all of fantasy. He has been unbelievable. Puka Nacua, dog of the week. Another fan voter dog of the week goes to Las Vegas Raider defensive end, Max Crosby. Now, I don't think he filled up the stat sheet. I'm checking to see here. I believe he did not fill up the stat sheet like crazy. I know he got a pick, and he forced a fumble. Okay, so I'm totally wrong about that. Then he was in the stat sheet. He finished with 5 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 passes defensed, 1 pick, 1 quarterback pressure, and 1 forced fumble. He was everywhere against Bears. I mean, legitimately, he was everywhere without it. Doesn't even matter. He was unbelievable. He was playing so well. Give him a lot of credit there. Every time they switched to that game on red zone, Max Crosby was making another play. So he's dog of the week there. I'm actually happy because I thought at first when voting was like early on, I thought that he wasn't going to get voted to be dog of the week. I was like, oh, come on. I thought that he was the most deserving out of everyone on that slide. But he got voted, so I'm very happy to see that. Last fan voter dog of the week before the top dog. Dogs of the week. Kenneth Gainwell, who came in as this Pittsburgh rushing offense was one of the worst in football. Not on Sunday, not in Dublin. Kenneth Gainwell, 19 carries, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was just something else. He also added 6 catches for 35 yards on the ground, over 100 yards for the former Eagle on the day. He really stepped in. I mean, this is a team that's really struggled on the ground. Caleb Johnson hasn't been as good as people expected him to be, but Kenneth Gainwell, I mean, he was unbelievable. He was finding holes like super easily. He was pounding the rock like I've never seen him do it before. He was exceptional. He was really, really exceptional on Sunday in Dublin in the international series. So I will say, this is the one actually. He was, I mean, once I was like, it's got to be Gainwell. I mean, he was just spectacular this week. He's probably available in your league, in your fantasy league. If he is, make sure you pick him up. Now that we're through the fan voter dogs, it is time for week 4 top dog of the week. This is one specific Jacksonville Jaguar running back, Travis Etienne Jr., who I honestly, just like Geno Smith said, I counted him out, but he didn't count back or something like that, right? They called me done. I didn't call back. Something like that. That's how I feel with Etienne. Etienne, 19 for 124 and a touchdown, long of 48. He also added 1 catch for 1 yard. Wow, that's impressive. No, I'm kidding. But on the ground, he was really good. Making plays. He's giving Jacksonville that vertical ability that they need, and that's what Liam Coen thrived with in Tampa Bay. We saw that with Bucky Irving, right? Bucky was fantastic down the stretch, such a vital piece to why they made the playoffs and why they were so good in that run as they built up into the postseason. That's what I feel like they're doing with Etienne. That's what I feel like Liam Coen is doing with Etienne. He's trying to make Trevor Lawrence more. If he's trying to get Trevor Lawrence to rely more on his running backs, you don't need to throw it deep every time. You don't need to force turnovers. Take the checkdowns. Take your running backs when they're available. Trust them more. Don't force feed Brian Thomas Jr. And I think that's clearly what the game plan is, because Etienne has been really exceptional this year, and Brian Thomas hasn't really had a great. I mean, he's been all right. He 5 for 49 this past week, not crazy, but he's been pretty solid. Or he's been okay, rather. So it's clear that Liam Coen is clearly helping Travis Etienne. So that's what earns him top dog honors for week 4. That's how we're going to end this episode. Thank you all for watching and choosing the Talkin Football podcast as your source of NFL content. Be sure to follow my Instagram, as I said, at Talkin Football Pod, and make sure while you're here, like, comment, and subscribe for more Talkin Football content. This is Talkin Football, and that's what I got to say about that.